Hello, boys and girls. It's time for another children's chat. Today we're going to be talking about another story about Jesus. Now, for the past few Sundays, we've talked about Jesus appearing to different people after he had risen from the dead. And so on Easter Sunday, he appears 3 different times. 3. He appears first to a woman named Mary. He appears second to 2 of his friends who are walking down the road. And then third, he appears to a bunch of his friends. But the third time that Jesus appeared, one of his friends was missing. He wasn't there and he didn't see Jesus. And his name was Thomas. Can you say Thomas? Are any of you named Thomas? Maybe you are. Now, Thomas missed Jesus and didn't see him the first 3 times that Jesus appeared to people. And so when he heard that Jesus had risen from the dead, but he didn't see Jesus, do you know what Thomas said? He said that he would never, ever, ever believe that Jesus was risen from the dead unless he saw Jesus with his own 2 eyes and he could reach out and touch Jesus, maybe put his hand on his shoulder or shake his hand. And he would never, ever, ever believe unless he saw for himself. That's what he said. I don't know. But Thomas had to wait for at least a week before Jesus finally appeared for a 4th time. Jesus' friends were all in a room together, and the doors were locked, but then, poof, Jesus came into the room. And there was Jesus standing before Thomas, who had refused to believe. But then Jesus talked to Thomas, and he told him, "Take a look, here I am." And then he told Thomas to stop disbelieving, to stop not believing, and to believe, because he was right there in front of him. And then Thomas said something very, very important. Thomas said, "My Lord and my God." Thomas started believing in Jesus again. Now, this is a tough story, I think, because Thomas didn't want to believe because he couldn't see Jesus. Everybody else got to see Jesus, but Thomas didn't, at least not at first. And we don't get to see Jesus either, do we? We don't see him face to face. We don't get to reach out and shake Jesus' hand or give him a hug. He's not here right now, at least not in his body. He's not around. So we don't get to see him just like Thomas. But we do get to hear from Jesus just like Thomas did. Can you think of how we might hear from Jesus? How we might listen to what he has to say? Look, I have a Bible with me. In the Bible, there's a whole bunch of stuff that Jesus says that we get to read and listen to, and Jesus gets to speak to us through the Bible. Oh, so even if we can't see Jesus, even if we can't touch Jesus, we do still get to listen to Jesus, which is very, very good. And then, of course, one day, we will see Jesus because he will return, and then we'll get to give him a big hug, and we'll get to see him face to face just like Thomas did. Okay? Very good. Let's end this video by talking to Jesus. Will you repeat after me as we talk to Jesus? Dear Jesus, thank you for coming to earth. Thank you for your word. Help us listen to you. Amen. Thank you all for joining me. We'll see you next time.